On the other side of that door.
Look, a little baby fell in a well. A hole about this big. Baby fell in it. 4-year-old baby. Put the camera down there. Look at the baby looking up like this.
Yeah,
Peace. All right.
The baby was wedged in like this. They spent hours getting the baby out.
They got him out.
All right, I turned on the class now, God. Nobody's in it yet, but just to let you know. But yeah, all right, any questions? I'm gonna go through. We've been dealing with a lot of negativity, ladies, so I'm gonna go through special things that we can do, right? So we take the end of this year and launch into the next year. Really powerful. You know what I mean? Grading ourselves, right? All of the knowledge, all of the wisdom that we've applied, though, right? Love, hella, right? The work that what we're gonna put in. Peace to the God King. Come on. All right. A lot of people see love, hella, right, though, and that hell is mysterious when people build with it. You know, the way I see it is that the love is the intent to engage in all things, the mentality, the perspective. We all have perspectives. We all have bias, though. When we deal with knowledge of self, we have a particular bias that is right and exact. I'll give you an example. The best example is our bias is always toward the children, always toward the best part. We don't change that bias, though, but it is a bias, though. We go into all situations thinking that because the bias is right and exact. That's the love that we go into situations. The hell is, to me, the way I build with it, the hell is not something that is imposed on us, something in outer force, but it's the work that we decide to go through, right? So what hell are we going to go through? What building are we going to go through? What have we done? This is the born month. What have we been doing all this year? You know what I mean? If it's not a satisfactory year, then we need to start building quickly of how we're going to change that into the next year. You know what I mean? A lot of people I've been building with all year, and they're just starting to do stuff. This is not good, you know? We have to get over laziness and all these kind of things with actual activities, actual things that we do, figuring things out. Be aware of how productive you are, right? This is why I have that BAT plus lesson, right? What you be doing the knowledge to crucial things that you do at all times, right? How you eat, how you train, what you read, meaning what you do the knowledge to, right? What you write, meaning what you say, how you say it, where you say it, right? And also what you share, right? Whether you do it vocally with your body language, where you go, what time you give people, all of that counts as far as what you're sharing. So you gotta see what you're sharing, because if you don't notice what you're sharing to the world or how you're sharing it to the world, or then you don't really know how you're taken, how things are taken from you. You know? We think sharing is just like, I deliberately am giving this to you. You know, it's 5%. We need to be more cognizant. We have to be more aware of how anything that we do can be taken. You know? Right? That's all magnetic. That's all stuff that's used. You know what I mean? You walk down the block with some fly gear. That's something that you shared, though. And somebody saw it, though. Somebody saw it. They said, look at that. You know what I mean? So our energy is always being used. It's always being taken. So always got to be doing the knowledge to that. Right? Knowledge, wisdom. Right? Take a moment to acknowledge what is useful to you, what has been useful to you. Right? Take a moment to see that gap between knowledge and wisdom. What are all the things you know and are not really engaging in yet? Sometimes people's productivity, usefulness, their worth is because there's very little that they're bringing from knowledge to wisdom. Or there's too much. There's too much that they have knowledge and not enough wisdom. You know what I mean? I think about this balance too as a writer though, because I love my favorite activity. It's almost like what I love to do. If I got nothing to do, if you say what to do to relax, I'm gonna read and listen to music at the same time. That's a lot of doing in knowledge. This is how I listen to all this music, but it's also how I end up reading a lot. But then now as a writer, when do you decide to share? There was a writer, not a writer, he wrote, but he was a philosopher, Paramahansa Yogananda. He wrote this small book. I think it was called Scientific Affirmations. Then he was talking about like for every page you read, there should be at least 3 pages of understanding that you could write about that. And think about that for a minute though, right? I still haven't found that to be able to get that far because I
So to prove knowledge and understand what I'm saying. The one page you read, you gotta have 3 pages of understanding.
yeah, and that's what he said. That's why it bugged me out because I already had knowledge when I read that book, and I was like, really? And it reminds me of this, that every time there's even a thing where I'm gonna say, what do I want to say? What is worthwhile to say? There's so much that I've read and continue to read that I just have to go back to see what I think of all this stuff that I've taken in. You know what I mean? And so it's just something to think about. You know what I'm saying? But it leads to things like writer's block, something that I don't really have. You know what I mean? I don't really get that because I read so profusely. I don't really get writer's block. You know what I'm saying? The mood to write is something that once I say, let me go in there and do it, it just happens. You know what I'm saying? But it is an actual work. It is an actual hell to sit down and think about the things to let them come out. You know what I mean? And formulate them and arrange them and perfect them, sequence them, all of these kind of things. You know what I mean? So we have to know that. You know what I mean? Sometimes love, hella right is also is also part of that knowledge, wisdom, all being born to understanding, because it's that evaluation of what love am I putting in and what do I expect to get out right. The missing piece is often in the middle. What work am I going to put in to get there? So these are all important. You know what I'm saying? It's all important, you know? But I just want to start off with something useful this way. You know what I mean? That way when people tune in immediately, they hear something useful, and then we could deal with what everybody's saying and what everybody's building with and how they see things and what they would like to ask me. Right now, we're still at a law school. This is a law school in Mecca, right? We have a little problem with the other room, the lighting and everything. So I'm in here in the computer room. So King Kamal, this is where that, remember what I was telling you, King, about what happened? This is the room. So now a positive experience inside the room. You know what I mean? Among many, I've had many, you know what I mean? But I've always been in the other classroom though, you know what I mean? Like 95% of my time when I'm in the school, you know what I mean? But King, you said, peace to the God stuff I built. King, you said there are many who do make music that you're not really teaching or doing any work by spreading knowledge and stuff through music. I've done it for years as well this year. That's love, God. Right? The boiler room. But yo, everything that we do is teaching something though. It's just that people are used to making music of very little value that it doesn't get noticed, you know what I mean? But you know, songs like you know, certain songs will be that understanding, you know what I mean? They'll have that insight or just that massive creativity. There's a creativity that we guys have. Definitely you got it, King Kamal, right? That that is special and people haven't heard it like that, you know what I mean? And it's not about just dropping the knowledge itself very blatantly. right? Like that song Stardust. Check out King Kamal, June 10th album. King. That album is very short. It's exactly 20 minutes, the deluxe version. Great songs on it, like Guilty. There's a lot of great songs on it. But the songs, if y'all don't know who King Kamal is, my brother, listen to Stardust. One verse. So heavy that you don't need nothing else. You know what I mean? Y'all want to see how great the God is, or listen to that song, King Kamal, Stardust. And if that don't blow you away, then I don't know what you're made of. You like something else. You know what I mean? And if you like something else, let me know. You like country? Check out Emmylou Harris. You know what I mean? Dolly Parton, Linda Ronstadt, whatever. Check out Original Women. Check out what's her name? It's one of my favorites. Rihanna Giddens. You know what I mean? That's who's playing on those Beyonce records. So, but she actually sings better than Beyonce. And if you don't know, then you gotta check. You know what I mean? Right, but if you don't like this hip hop, there's beautiful music, beautiful things to inspire. Let great creativity inspire you. You know what I mean? Oh yeah, Bean Pie. You know what I mean? Bean Pie, yeah. With my man, my brother Rim, my brother Spit Gems, the guy, my brother Planet Asia. Like they all killed that. They all killed that. It's an incredible song, man. Piece of the God Rim, aka the God is known as Wanikala. You know what I mean? Piece of the God. You know, great MC, clever, insight. And you know what? He performed his verse on that song at the concert that we had here, and it was such a shining moment. You know what I mean? He performed it. It was a build, and he's got Shannon Briggs shadow boxing. You know what I mean? Like it was dope. It was dope. But yeah, Stardust. You know what I mean? Yeah, that whole album, the Paul album. You know what I mean? King Kamal, Paul album, and the June 10th album. That's from 2024. Like, don't sleep, man. You know what I mean? And I got me a verse that, I made sure I wrote the hell out of that verse on Paul, the Paul album. Listen, the real books, man. Anybody want any of my older books? They never out of date. They're just older. You know what I mean? They're always on time. They're historical. Honestly, I'm not exaggerating when I say they're historical landmarks of analytical history. But well, all my old books I give a great deal. So let me know. You know what I mean? I give a great deal. For the bundles I give a great deal. But thank you, God, man. I love writing that. You know what I mean? I have so much fun writing that. And you know what? Me and King Kamal, we're working on a new joint. We're not waiting. I'm working on a new album too. Even as I'm working on my second album, solo album, we gonna get this next duet album. You know what I mean? Yeah, man. Word is bond. Just got to keep creating. Be inspired by creation, just like you're inspired by the builds. You got to understand that when you build, that's creativity. That's why it says self-styled wisdom. When you build, that's supposed to be your creativity. You know what I mean? And that's the key, man. That's the key. Let me know if everybody hears me, because the laptop is glitching here, so I'm not sure if it's, yeah, I'm trying to keep it still, but since it's in a new place, I didn't get it. Should be good. All right. Been reading a Peace course. Yeah, the Peace course is concentrated supremacy, man. I wrote that heavy. It's not a fast read. People think it's a small book, but it's harder to read than my 600-page books. Oh, that's Peace Cake. Thank you, God. Yo, yeah, God, we gotta do so, we gotta do another of these skits, man. It's crazy. You know what I mean? Yeah, we might have to do a polo skit, man. Attack of the USPA, attack of the United States polo assassins. the USPA cats are trying to get us. You know what I mean? But yeah, you know. But just a good day. I'm gonna be here until 8 o'clock. You know what I mean? Live at the Polo. I like that. Oh my goodness. Yo, King, shit. The Polo Dojo. We might have to. Yo, honestly, I'm opening up. I'm opening up my document, man. Open up the songbook. I got a giant songbook document, man. So let me give some announcements, though. Um, um, Next week I'm going to be teaching here earlier. Okay, so I'm going to be here very early because I'm going to be a guest on the Let's Get Activated podcast with Same, Piece of the Earth, Same, and that's going to be at 7 o'clock, which is when I start this at 6:30 and stuff. So that means 7 to 8 hours. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be here early, and I'll be on here from like 5 to 7 ish. I'm gonna get off at like 6:50 or so to give everybody at least approximately, definitely an hour and a half. So I get here at that time. You know what I mean? Then after that, though, I start working at schools again. So I'll probably be starting here like around 6:30 ish. You know what I mean? So definitely gonna be more focused and give you all a concentrated hour at least. But God said that, and I'm literally going into my Google Doc. I'm opening up. I have I make documents for every album that I'm doing. But when the album is, but I have a songbook file where I got ideas, fly words that I just love, everything in there, and then all the songs I do for other people, loose songs. But yo, God, that's gonna be a song title, Polo Dojo. You know. Yeah, man. I look forward to that. You know what I mean? Yeah, so look, I say this because when I'm building with everybody, I have less time. At the end of the year, I try to get certain projects finished and out. There's 2 projects that I'm working on heavy. And I'm not even talking about songs and everything because I'm not rushing with the songs and stuff. But we'll probably bust it out. There's a lot that I got, so probably go through them fast. But anyway, the point being though, I want you all to have a thing like, you either be in a mode where you're like really trying to get your goals accomplished by the year end. You know what I'm saying? You really try to get your goals accomplished by the year end, or you just kind of say, listen, I gotta re-up and start again. You know what I mean? And start again for next year. You know what I mean? And sometimes that's the case, Now, if let's say you're not training, you're not working out at all, right? And looks like I'm here, right? I got mine. Look, I got mine, right? This is mine, self-made. And I'm here and I see that they already purchased it. But look, the Rip Right, that people spend so much money for the Rip Right. This is a Rip Right. And it's, it's cool. It's a good deal because the handlebars are big. But these bands only got one. They only got one. You know what I mean? I got, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I got them turned in. So then they're not Like, look, they're not just like this. They're turned in, so they're doubled. You know what I mean? They're right. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 4 on each side. So this is they really should be like this. You know what I mean? And you get your sets in at all times, though. At all times. You know what I mean? I enjoy watching some baseball. I tried to watch football, but that was hellish with the way the Giants and the Jets are. But while I'm doing that though, I'll be working on rhymes, getting these sets in. You know what I'm saying? But look, we're here. The Gods is building. You know what I mean? This ain't even mine though. This is probably Dark Kim's or somebody's. You know? Right? They got the hand thing. This I can't even. Yeah, this one is heavy though. I can't even do this one, man. Yeah, this one is high intensity. That's powerful right there. You know? Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's the whole thing. Like my thing is like with the Rip Right, they don't really give you a lot of bands, but you can add more bands. You could just go to Staples or wherever, order more rubber bands, but get them a certain thickness. Too thin, they'll break. Too big, they break. That when they're too big, they actually break faster. You know, I've tried a lot of sizes. You know what I mean? But you can make your own though. You know what I mean? Mine's are jump rope handles. You know what I'm saying? They had weighted jump rope handles. They had the weights. The covers broke, but I used to do this with the weights on them, so they were weighted and had this resistance. But you know, I the weights I can't. You know what? I might find a way to get the weights back in there too. That's big, you know. But the reason I leave the weights out is so I could travel with them and it's real light. That's what makes it good. It's real light. And look, the Rip Right is good, but if you notice, mine's is real small, right? It only fits like the hand size. That gives me an advantage because I could take it with me. You know what I'm saying? Much easier. And I can put that in my back pocket. You know. But it's really something like I use heavy. Like I'll do push-up sets with it. When I reach failure, I'll do a push-up set for 5 minutes. I do push-up sets for 5 minutes. But when I get to failure on the push-ups, I rest the arms. Not really rest, but I rest the push-up motion by doing these. Then when I'm watching TV, I don't keep idle, man. I don't keep idle, you know? Always doing something, you know what I mean? Right? Man, you watch a sports game, right? You know, like I said, I love baseball, you know what I mean? I love the Mets. I love watching the Mets. And that's 3 hours. That's 3+ hours. You know what I mean? So that's my time to relax, but also my time to do some extra things. You know what I mean? Be creative, think about things. You know what I mean? So you know, use your time wisely, even when you are enjoying, even when you're enjoying stuff. I'll be watching movies using it. You know, and look, if you have problems, like right, if you got problems, back problems, things like that, it's isometric though, so you don't really need to be. You can strengthen that isometrically, so you can hold it here. So if the reps are hurting, even still you got it isometrically. So I'm gonna do it now. So let's say you get tired of the reps, holding it. All types of things, right? You got the forearms, right? You got the back. Can't do it now because I got my hat on, but so many things you could do with this. I keep talking about it because people are spending mad money getting the Rip Right, and you know I feel some kind of way about that because it's not really their idea, but it is what it is. At the same time, you can make your own, man. You can make your own. You know what I mean? Just with this was originally Marvin Gatlin that made this, a Black Seed. He called it the toy. So to me, I still call it the toy. But you could do anything. Look, I'll give you a little tutorial since right. My main exercise is like that the chest and the arms, especially the shoulders. You know, so I open it up all the way. shit, y'all got me here. I'm gonna do about 50. That's 10, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 20, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 30, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 40. 50. Everything's burning. You know what I mean? It augments, you know what I mean? Everything. It augments everything. Right? But you got biceps, right? These are harder because I can't get my hand in there easy. But when the reps go, you got biceps right there. You could switch them. It's harder to get my hands in there today right now because I have rings on and I got all this the bangles. Right? But I got it in there. Right? You have over. This is great, like for the lats, the shoulder. This stretches out the strength in the shoulders. Sometimes you keep it isometric. Isometric means you stay still. Right? You have forearms. Right? So you hold it like this. That rips the forearm. You can see the flex there. Right? So it's a lot of stuff. And I have to stop now because I got my nice clothes on. I ain't trying to sweat that much. But yeah, you know what I mean? You could do a ton of things with them. Ton of things. You know? So I get the reps in. So I train heavy, use it during those heavy sets. But then when I'm just relaxing, I get extra sets. So I keep always active. You know what I mean? And I challenge. You know what I mean? I challenge the muscles. You know what I mean? And it works for everything. You know what I mean? Works for everything. Right? Get the triceps right. Right? Deltoids. You know what I'm saying? Y'all don't even know. I'm not gonna take off my shirt to show y'all, but yeah. You know what I mean? But you could do everything with this, and all you gotta do is just figure out. You could order some jump rope, use the jump rope handles, something like that. You know what I mean? Look around what you got in your house. You know what I mean? It's really great to have stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And it's real easy. You know what I'm saying? You could do reps while you know. If you overlap, see how they just had one on the top. The rip right has one, but you see how all these bands are going in like this, and I'm overlapping. I'm trying to take it out. Right? You see how they're overlapping and like that, and they're overlapped. So when they break, they just hang though. So they don't really be popping out at you. You know what I mean? So that works with that too. You know? But yeah, we gotta figure out how do we train all the time. Like, people don't even know. Like, I'm able to do my intense workouts that I do 4 days a week, and then I do a shorter workout 2 days a week, along with training sessions. Because I end up having more training sessions on the weekend, right? So 6 days a week I'm training. It's more the hardest work for me is to relax on that day off. You know what I mean? But because it's so well earned and I'm so beat down in a good way, you know, I'm just like, you know, it's just it's wonderful to get that rest. You know what I mean? But my long workout that I do daily, my heavy training workout, actually lasts an hour, 1 hour. And yet, if I tell you what I'm doing, a lot of people don't believe it though. You know what I'm saying? It's so concentrated. It has weightlifting, resistance training, lighter weights from 3 levels down. So biceps, triceps, deltoids, focus. It has everything. You know what I mean? So like for example, it has burpees. I'm able to do every heavy training session, I do 50 burpees in 5 minutes. So I always make it. There's only one time because I was daydreaming about something. You know what I mean? And I was musing whether I should write it down or not. And I didn't make the 5 minutes, but 50 burpees in 5 minutes. And I'm usually at 4:30, 4:35. You know what I mean? So the burpees are great, though. Burpees are great. I end up doing the 50 burpees after I do all the weight training. And it just really overloads the body. You know what I mean? Then right after the burpees, then I do the push-ups, 5 minutes to failure. You know what I mean? It's great. It's great. You know what I mean? These little things. And I've been saying my 5x5 workout a lot as a short workout. You know what I mean? But over a week, I do 250 burpees. 250 burpees every week. You know what I mean? And I always hated burpees. And that's why I said I'm going to do them. You know what I mean? And I've been doing that for a while now. You know what I mean? That's something I added that has shortened my training and been very, very, very useful. With all these works and projects, I have to do more stuff with less time. So I made it more concentrated, and the shorter workout is more concentrated. So think about these things. You know what I mean? You're saying, listen, I want to write a certain amount of pages in my journal. At least try to develop if I'm a writer or not, right? And how about this? You know what I'm saying? Journal 5 pages a week. That's it. 5 pages a week. You know what I mean? I write so much that I make sure I always get at least 10 pages in the journal. You know what I mean? 10 pages at least. You know? Everything adds up. Reconfigure how you're doing stuff. It's that time now. You know what I mean? Figure how you do it for the next, you know what I mean? Year as we go in, and you go in with these things really, really strong. You know? It's time to take note. Take the time to write down all your understandings. You know what I mean? What are your understandings? How do you see certain degrees? How do you see mathematics, though? How do you compare how you saw mathematics last month on the 12th to this month? Months ago, you know what I mean? These are things that we don't have, though, unless we start writing them down. So it's important to have your own journal. Not for me to read, not for anybody to read if you don't want them to. But certainly for you, you know what I mean? These are little things that I've been putting in the curriculum. You're not reading enough? Then put a book limit. How many books do you expect to read a year? Have that for next year. But then how's that going to work by pages? You know what I'm saying? Hey, if you put in your limit, though, I'm going to read 100 pages a week. That's going to get you far. You're going from reading how many books? So now the average book is between 250, 300. Every month you'll have at least one book read. You know what I mean? Right? I have a certain amount of page numbers that I read every week. And I make it every time. And it allows me actually to try other and I don't even count that. I don't even count other types of literature I read, like graphic novels is something I've gotten into. I don't count that in there. And make a list of everything you're reading. I've got a list of all the graphic novels I've read, everything. You know what I mean? It's important to know your progress. It's important to go back and judge with humility, but a real humility, something that you know what you've really done, not just think you've done. You know? All right, so let me know if there's any questions about anything. Here at the school to 8 o'clock. I'm here be online. All right, let me know what's the science. I'm gonna be here for another hour. There's something in that I want people to acknowledge what they are doing, to see the understanding. You know, what is the cumulative understanding of what we have done so far this year? You know what I mean? How we have been building, what we've been doing. This is very important. Very important. Let's see. Let's see. Malik, peace to the God. Always great to see you, hear from you. All right. Um, you said I know I asked this question before, but I couldn't retract the video where you displayed was what was meant by interorientation. Oh, good question. Interorientation is a real word, sociological word. I found it in old text, like one or two old texts. Um, it literally means when two peoples, two groups of peoples, have different languages, speak different languages unknown to each other, but one group is trying to indoctrinate or infuse an idea to the other group. So knowing the definition like that, it really it makes perfect sense in the 1 and 36. Self-ability said wisdom is wise is words, ways, and actions. Right? Culture is a way of life, right? Is the culture then consistency in a particular way? Is this the differentiation between the two? Very good. You know what I mean? Like the thing is that wisdom is really the use of those things. You know what I mean? And so there's a reality of experience that goes with it, an accumulation of an experience that goes with it. When you wisdom things, you're using the knowledge though, but it isn't necessarily always um it is something internal. So the um differentiation between the wisdom and the culture here is that the culture is outward, it's projected outward. It cannot be pulled back in. You know what I mean? Wisdom, we could say, if it's the words, the ways, and action, they are the pieces. You know what I'm saying? They are the pieces that accumulate to culture. You know what I mean? But culture really is that product, that reality. You know what I mean? The wisdom is particular things. They add up to culture. You know what I mean? So it has a twofold thing. It is the use of that knowledge, which is an internal thing. But when we talk about like how is wise words and action, words, ways, and actions as wisdom, because those are the pieces of culture. These are the fragments. So instead of consistency, it's more like the pieces that when they come together, no one's culture is just their words, just their ways, and just their actions. It's an accumulation of things. That wisdom is like the accumulations. You see? The only difference is that when they are accumulated, they were bound by understanding. Right? That's peace, God. It's a good question. All right. So interorientation that was displayed by the trader was what caused the slave trade us being here in North America. Um, yes and no, because we didn't technically have to be convinced. That's just part of it, though. Remember, the slave trade. Every answer about the slave trade is not in the 1 to 36. It's not the complete answer. It's a major portion of it, though. It is the mental aspect, the one of the major building blocks of how it was shaped. But the interorientation is crucial to it because you have these different, African societies um, being drawn up, being manipulated, right? So it's crucial to its functioning. Self-I build. You said from your understanding, what was some of the instrumental things old man just contributed to the nation's growth and development? I hear his name, but not much history about it. It's a good question. I gotta refresh myself. I have a lot of builds about it. And one of the major things is that, it's not one of the major things that I'll tell you what I've gotten from people that built was with him, and learned with him. What's interesting is that he continued. I think the most major thing, he continued the foundation of not having leadership, forcing the young to be leaders. I think that's one of the most main things that he did. He enforced that. He didn't step in to take over, step in to be a leader, but he demanded that people become leaders. Everyone that I've ever talked about this demand, and it just was. This is the way it was going to be. You know what I mean? So that's one major. That's really the most major thing that I can say. Because his life is really one about really supporting the things that the father was doing. Malik, you said my memory is a little foggy, so I'm using speech text. I remember you saying 130 was the ultimate con. Yes. The con is just fooling them. How do we fool them though? Right? Fear. The major cons are in there. The fear, the con of fear, the con of liking nothing, right? Thinking that nothing is something, right? Something of no worth is something. And now we like the devil because he gives us nothing, right? These are all part of the con, you know what I mean? The mental con. It's very powerful, right? Once you get to the bottom of the set, you're dealing with what? What they promised, right? The broken promises, right? These are crucial. These are cons. These are all cons. So it's very powerful, I think I build. I think I had like a really good build that was written by Ibn al-Jamar or somebody that knew old man justice. You know what I mean? I want to get that. I want to look for that again. I got a lot of plus lessons in the box. I haven't had the time to look through them. You know what I mean? I'm still adjusting to all the work I'm doing. I think that next year I'll be better with chronicling some of the stuff in these plus lessons I've had for years. But also writing some of the ones that I want to write, though. You know what I mean? Because there's some that I'm going to write too. Like I did with the 1 to 36, I want to make build notes that we can use that are useful and all that. So I'll be doing that. And we'll be doing that. What people don't get is that a lot of the stuff that I monetize takes a long time to make. A lot of people don't buy. I don't get as many people buying my books though, but because I get such a good profit out of them though, they're some of the best ways that I can monetize the work that I have. You know what I mean? But I don't think people understand the amount of hours that I put into making them. And then you might get it for $20 or something, $25. You know, it's hardly what it's worth to me. You know what I mean? So I really want to plan when I get these plus lessons out and things like that people could use. You know, little activity sheets. You know, like I did with the 1 to 36 study sheets. Really. Little awkward sentence that with nothing that he gave us, I have no value to him or us knowingly. No, he's not being fooled by the value. You know what I mean? He likes the devil because the devil gives him nothing. It's like whatever they give us, though, we see it as something worthwhile. You know what I mean? And yet it's not. So that's the nothing. So, Fabio, you said I've heard the term poor knowledge used on occasion. What entails poor knowledge specifically, or is it a term to be used as dismissal to those one is not in agreement with? I would say it's more the latter. You know what I mean? It's more the latter. If you tell somebody they have poor knowledge, though, it's usually like they just said something that's almost right, and in this nation, we're right inexact. So you kind of just is kind of. I always see it as a passive aggressive dart. I hate that shit. Don't tell me I have poor knowledge, though. Just tell me I'm fucking wrong. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people will say that's poor knowledge, but they don't really give the details. They don't really give the details. What's poor about it? People say poor knowledge, though, but they're not the one that's going to be there to help them build it up. You know, so I don't really like the way that term is usually used. You know, I've never heard the instance where it was used in some kind of useful way. You know. All right, I'm gonna be here. Like I said, I'm gonna be here till 8. So let me know if there's anything you want to build on. You see how things really link up. You know, right? Knowledge and wisdom, your knowledge and wisdom, and how they merge together is very important. You see, in the 1 to 40, why doesn't the devil teach that? Because he decides to make slaves out of all that he can, so he can rob them and live in luxury. If you can't unite that knowledge and wisdom, you're ready, prime for bloodsucked, to be bloodsucked. Self, you said, do trick knowledge and devilishment differ? Or are they one and the same? I know the fourth degree discusses both. Trick knowledge is devilishment, but it's a particular type. The trick knowledge is like the infusion of that information, that propaganda of truth being misused, you know, in a bevy of lies. You know what I mean? That the lie has some type of truth in it, making it more potent, making it more believable. So trick knowledge is a type of devilishment. The strategy, it's propaganda, right? You know what I mean? So that's what that is. So it's a type, you know. They're not one in this. They're not one and the same. You know what I mean? Trick knowledge wouldn't entail other kinds of devilishment, right? Like straight stealing. It wouldn't count violence of massive kinds and stuff. So it wouldn't take all that, right? And trick knowledge is really the mental. Peace, God. You know, the mental, right? It's a good question, though. Anyway. Creator and creation always existing. You know what's funny? I don't know what day it was, but Dark Kim said something really, really insightful about that. And I wish I remember exactly what he said because I hate reinventing. But I'm going to have to say it in my own way. When I say creator is always in his creation, is because the creator himself is self-created himself and is ever creating. So creation is everything because creator is that as well. You know what I mean? So the creator just is. The idea of himself, the reality of self, the reality of, right? And so the creator was always in some type of creation because he himself is a creation, right? Self I Build. You said I looked at a recent episode of Star Talk with DeGrasse Tyson. They discussed epigenetics you might like. A sister of Columbia was Bill and her research findings. Yeah, you know, I haven't caught up on that. You know what I mean? I have to catch up on Star Talk. I haven't watched it and listened to it in a while. You know, honestly, I really just rotate. That's a great one. I keep forgetting about that. I haven't been on podcasts that much. I always listen to Gary Knowles' podcast. Why's the Dome? If I said a third, that would be the third. But excuse me. But I haven't had time to listen to a lot of podcasts. You know what I mean? I've been listening to a lot of political podcasts like Glenn Greenwald, Chris Hedges, others, and only because I want to be quickly updated and with good insights, non-Republican, non-Democratic insights. You know what I mean? On you know, on all this election season. Now it's always good to be up on it. And you know, as a quick note though, if you're you know, you vote, that's your own thing, and it's good. If you never voted and you want to vote, you know, do the activity. But right. Yeah. This is the best health podcast. This is where I've learned most of my health knowledge, though. You know what I mean? A real legend in it. Right? Gary Knoll, the Gary Knoll show. He also has a good interview show he calls I forget what let me see what it's called. Progressive what is it? Progressive commentary. Yes, I forgot that second word. This is also by Gary Knoll. You know what I mean? It's mainly a health show, but he talks about all topics. So I don't always agree with everything, but his insights are always useful. Political channels, though, right? I go with journalists. Glenn Greenwald. Just look him up. You'll find his podcast. Chris Hedges. There's some others though. Matt Taibbi is a good journalist too. He's the one that I found out among many things. Aaron Mate is a good journalist. A lot of good journalists though. Find their work instead of looking for like a network or something. King, did you have a build on Supreme Math? No, I didn't see it in here. Today's math, yes. Today's math is knowledge, wisdom, all being born and understanding. Knowledge is foundation for one's actions in advance. Understanding is the mental clarity of why you chose the path of righteousness in the first place. I like that because there's a full circle. There's a reasoning. When we get to understanding, there's an insight to the reasoning. You know what I mean? I like that. I like that a lot, actually. Man, King, I know you don't be writing everything now. You memorize that if you ain't gonna write it. But strong, Bill. I'm sorry I missed that. You know what I mean? That was with the workout stuff. Once I did those reps though, I lost all track, right? There's some others though. Matt Taibbi was the one that when Twitter was banning people and then because of the Biden administration was banning people that were talking about shadow banning, overtly banning people that were talking about the shot. Certainly I was shadow banned, you know what I mean? And it's affected all of my stuff since, you know what I mean? I see, like where I used to get the most money was Instagram. And the followers don't even build up. It stays stuck. Peace.
Oh, please.
You looking for Shot Quest?
Yeah. Oh, you know. Oh. Yeah, I guess he's in the yard. Right?
Yeah, he might be. I don't
Okay,
know.
I'll check right there.
You're welcome. Yeah, but he's the one that found out how the Biden administration was actually, doing the censoring and it was okaying all that. The Twitter fiasco wasn't just about Trump and everything. The hell with him though. If he got banned, it was okay because he broke a lot of rules, whatever, right? That's all he does. But of conduct and stuff, you know what I mean? But we're talking about just information, challenging information, these different things. You know what I mean? But anyway, great journalist. There's more, but if I remember, I'll throw them out there. That's why I don't watch the news at all. I don't watch the news at all. I'd rather get the news analyzed by a couple of good journalists that have integrity than just go out there. And remember, I'm gonna tell you this though. There's some about politics that people don't understand. The reason that they pick a side and stick with Kamala, or they just flip side and go Trump. Remember that whoever's in power, the truth is usually more on the other side. Now, we say that though, say, wait, Sunez, you're saying the truth is on the Republican side. I'm saying though that the Democrats though are the ones doing devilishment. So the only way that the other side can get back in the game often is that they have people telling the truth. You know what I'm saying? For example, right? He's what's his name? Tucker Carlson. He got kicked out by Fox News though. He's a devil like all of them, so he didn't get kicked out because he was racist, right? We know he's racist though. That ain't changed. You don't get kicked out because you're racist. People, I'm glad Tucker Carlson got kicked out of Fox and everything because he's racist. You don't get kicked out of Fox because you're racist. You gotta look at why we would get kicked out, right? Because he was going against the Democrats though, right? Because they're on this right-wing side, then they're gonna try to find things that are wrong about the vaccine. Some of those things he found wrong got him kicked out. You know what I'm saying? You got to look that the truth often will be on the people that are trying to get back. They don't care about the truth, but they're trying to get back at the other side that is in power. When the other side is in power, it'll flip-flop again. You know what I mean? Just like it was when Trump was in power. A lot of the Democrats, so they didn't care. They're all blue dogs. They're corporatized. But they wanted to get back at the Republicans, so they find a lot of truth that is being withheld by the other side. And then now they start to be truth tellers. Truth tellers is how devils also get back in the game. Since we were talking about trick knowledge, that's when it becomes a real high stakes game. High stakes game. Because you got people that mix the lie with the truth. But when we're talking about trick knowledge on a large level, we're talking about using knowledge for your own personal gain. And now you're telling the truth only because it's convenient, because it exposes the other side. This is the thing. I mean, this is a crucial thing. So like, I'll give you an example. During the whole vaccine stuff, the truth wasn't coming out on the liberal side. Black and brown liberals were like, yo, the real problem is we want to get vaccines in all of the poor communities and it's not getting there. They didn't say what's in it. How does it work? Was it really tested? Did they alter the test? How come the ingredients aren't released? Even the other vaccines, which I disagree with all of them. I have found bad ingredients in all of them. I could find out the ingredients to them. Just got to know where to look. They don't expose anything about the 1986 Vaccine Act, right? Nothing. Right? That Reagan passed through that you can't even sue these people, right? So now you add these things, right? You add all these things. The Democrats are doing this. They're the ones that are mandating, making you take it. They don't care if you don't care about the ingredients. I saw a commercial for Sky. Sounds like Sky Zoo. Sky Rizzy. Sounds like a shitty rapper, right? Trying to be like Sky Zoo, right? Sky Rizzy. If you listen to Sky Rizzy commercial, that drug says find out with your doctor if you took a vaccine or if you've taken a vaccine before you take Sky Rizzy, right? This admits though that certain medications don't mix with vaccines if you're taking vaccines of any kind. So that means that with all people everywhere take all types of medicines, all types of drugs, pharmaceuticals. That means that when they mandate and say this vaccine is for everybody, everybody must take it, they're going against their own protocols. They're going against the protocols of logic and the Hippocratic Oath, which is do no harm. You do nothing before you do harm. Right? That's the whole science of preventive medicine. Right? And remember, as a side note, preventive medicine is different than defensive medicine. Preventive medicine is when you make sure you take your vitamin C, your nutrients, your all this, be healthy, eat the right foods. You know what I mean? Take the black seed oil when your throat hurts, right? Et cetera, right? Defensive medicine is when you go to the doctor and you're okay with everything, but they give you 1 million tests so that they won't be sued. And now you charge for all these tests that aren't necessarily proven to be necessary. There's difference. They both sound like they're good, but one is right, the other's a hustle. So these are important things to know. You know what I mean? And I'm giving these examples because health is very easy to see, the devilishment and all this kind of stuff. So when we deal with all this, you see people that they're like, oh, Bush is telling, Bush, I said Bush, I went way back. Trump is telling the truth. Then they bring RFK though, who got hustled because the Democratic Party is so corrupt. He said, let me try this hustle, right? He's going from one bad guy to another though, and it's showing he's, white and weak. It's all good, right? But when he gives his right answers about health and all these kind of things, he's just being used as a tool and a slave because that's not something that they're going to do anyway. They're all making money from big pharma. You know what I mean? But when you're on the losing side, you expose the other people using, right? In other words, Democrats and Republicans are snitches on each other. They're quick to snitch on each other by telling the truth about what they're about to have a hand in as well. And may already most likely have hands in. So when you see the truth on the Republican side, be wary that you're just not going for the underdog. The underdog always seems to have truth on the side because they're out there exposing things. The one who's in power is defending what they're going to do, defending what they continue to do. So for us, though, it'll look more corrupt because we want change all the time. We're always looking for change, right? Thank you, God. The pain puncture series I wrote, they got me shadow banning a lot of things. Peace, can I help you? Southwest, I don't know where he is. He stepped out. I don't know where he went.
Thank you.
You're welcome. But all right, self-viability said the 24th degree in the 1 to 36 talks of devils making us blind, deaf, and dumb. What are some of the tools you see that are being used today by the devil to continue this process? You know what I mean? The tools that we have now, you know what I'm saying? What we have now is we have access to information. So now it's basically access to so many things. Then now we have access to toys. We have stuff to keep us engaged. It's about engagement, like it's not about the quality of what I give. It's about the amount of content. So people salute me a lot of times, for example, more for all the content I give than opposed to the quality of the content. They haven't really read it though. And yet for me to survive, I have to keep throwing out content. Like, when are you gonna go back? You know what I mean? See everything I gave. You know what I mean? So this is something that goes along with that. You know, the tools that are being used is mainly technological. You know what I'm saying? There's a crutch. Schools, for example, don't give out textbooks though. So now there's a whole new way of learning the wrong things. You know, and I'm keeping my eye on that. You know what I mean? I'm keeping my eye on that. Stuff I build. You said, oh, okay, I read that. 793rd piece. All right. So these are all things. You know what I mean? I'm trying to think. There was another journalist I like too. And again, when I was talking about Tucker Carlson, is a great example. You know what I mean? They start speaking truth, but they're only going against the other party. But he went against the truth that the Republicans are going to embrace anyway. If the Republicans weren't going to embrace that, I'm pretty sure Fox wouldn't have fired him. You know what I mean? And if you look, though, he's got a bigger audience than any of these people. You know what I mean? But we got to look at how we look at information, the way that we look at the information. You know what I mean? Study people that do their homework, that really have analysis, though, and not just claim stuff, that they give you the real research to go along with that. You know, not these polls say, or the Republicans did this, you know, and then we actually, you know, don't get caught up. Don't get caught up. You know what I mean? It's crazy. Don't get caught up, though. You know, do the knowledge. You know, you do a real assignment. You work and see how, find out how both candidates are devilish. What most likely are they going to do and continue to do? You know what I mean? Follow their money trail. You know, we could talk a lot about this stuff, though, but the money trail is huge on Kamala's side, just as it is on Trump's side. So there's really no evidence that anything would change. You know what I mean? Certainly with major issues like the genocide in Israel and all that, right? And the Gaza Strip, all of that, right? Palestinians. None of that is ending. All of that is being fomented. You know, and it's funny because I haven't said anything. You know, I've been meaning to talk about that, but you know, I see people like, yo, I'm rolling with Trump, man, because what did he do though? What did he do? You know what I mean? What did he do? Because technically, if you think he gave you money though, that wasn't really his doing though. He's just taking credit for that though. You know, he likes the devil because the devil gives nothing. We have so little that something is something. So nothing becomes something, but it was nothing for them to give. And there's so much more that they take. You know, it's nothing to cheer about. That's very important. You know what I mean?